Hey, this is Needle7 here. Today we are going to be looking at Pokemon the card game. In previous videos I went through and we actually just played through a couple of matches. But this time I actually wanted to go around and give a basic instructions of how to get in, how to play with physical cards, how to play online, and how to really get started and learn how to use it. The reason I'm making this is because I have a niece that is very much interested in Pokemon and doesn't know the Pokemon trading card game rules, but is very interested in learning them and playing them. And so I thought that this may be the best way to at least get some of those rules across and to help people from all audiences and all ages really understand how the game works. So, one of the ways you can play is on your computer. You can also play on a phone or tablet. It doesn't matter whether it's Apple or Android. You can just go to the App Store and get the Pokemon Trading Card online game. This is very useful to play in, especially if you don't have somebody to play with. You can play against the computer till you learn how to do well in the game. And then also, once you get good, you can play against people online. And what you can do is you can send smiley faces or frowny faces over to the person you're playing. So there's no worry about chat or people getting angry or upset at you. You just you just play. Typically, Pokemon trading card game happens on a mat, and you can make your own mat, or you can just lay out the cards on the floor. That's what we used to do a good portion of the time, and before we had our mats bought. But the setup looks very similar to this all the time. There is two Pokemon. Your Pokemon are here. This is your bench of 5 Pokemon. You can have 6 Pokemon in the battle, and then your one active Pokemon. And this is the one that you are battling over here. Let me zoom in. And that Pokemon is the trainer that you're fighting against, and their 5 bench Pokemon. You also have 6 prize cards, where every time you knock out one of his Pokemon, where you do enough damage that they can't participate in the battle anymore, then you draw a prize card into your hand. And once you've drawn all 6 of your prize cards, the game's over because you've won. In addition, there's another way you can win is if the trainer that you're playing against completely runs out of cards before you do. And this sometimes happens after very long games, but also there are trainer cards that allow you to draw more cards per turn than the normal one card. And so if somebody is too aggressive and you're able to um, just hold on and keep on playing, then they may run out of cards. So this is what it looks like when you're playing physically, and you'll see that it's almost exactly the same setup when you play online. It looks the same, and it feels the same. So let me log in. If you are playing on a computer, you can go to the Pokemon Trading Card Game website and download this game, and it's free to play. And let's zoom in. Okay, here we go. We're going to log in. And when you log in, it usually asks you, once you've completed the training, the tutorial, to select a daily challenge. And that may or may not pop up for me since I've already logged in for today. So right now I have 3 challenges open. Put 7 evolution cards into play of the fairy type, do 750 psychic damage, and do 750 damage with your opposing Pokemon. We won't be working on that today. Also, when you log in once a day, you can get a prize in coins. Once you save up enough points, you can go to the shop and buy yourself new digital booster packs. They're 200 coins, and you can get these by playing. You don't actually have to spend real money in the game. And the decks, you can you can choose a deck to play with. And so, in speaking about Pokemon card decks, let me just pull this one up. It's a Psychic deck, view deck. You can see the usual breakdown of a deck is always 60 cards. Um, Usually they have between 20 and 30 energy cards. If you have less than that, uh, then it's not really going to work right. You'll keep on drawing Pokemon and trainer cards, but you won't be able to actually use them or power up any attacks. So a third to half of your deck will be energy cards. This particular one is a Psychic deck, and you can see that it only has Psychic energy cards. If you're building a deck at home and you're using your own cards to make a deck to play with, you want at least 20 energy cards. You can use two different types of energy, but that's much harder to use two different types of energy because sometimes you still won't be able to use your Pokemon because you keep drawing the wrong type of energy. And so you would have to be very lucky to win with one of those decks. I definitely recommend a deck of all one type of energy, and then you can have different decks with mixes. And there are some Pokemon that can use other types of energy. For example, in this deck, there are all of these colorless Pokemon that can use energy. In some of the fire decks, there's a few psychic Pokemon that can use fire energy. And so you can see the breakdown is about the same amount of Pokemon as you do have energy. Between 20 and 30, I would not do more than 25 Pokemon, just because then you end up with too many Pokemon in your deck, and you keep on drawing Pokemon, but you can't use them. So in here, there are, this is a bad example. Let me choose a different deck to show. Where is the Charizard deck? Here we go. This is a great deck. So again, they pretty much on the Pokemon sanctioned decks where they start out as a starter deck, and these are really the most fun to play with, in my opinion, is you can see they have 20 energy in their deck. They have 22 Pokemon, so they're less than that 25 marker, and then they have 18 trainer cards. The Pokemon that they pick are very well coordinated with each other, and they usually follow this 3-2-2 setup. So 3 basic Pokemon of all of the same type. So I've got 3 Charmanders, 2 Charmeleons, and 1 Charizard, and then 1 shiny Charizard. So 3, 2, and then 2. And this Farfetch'd is not a very strong Pokemon, but you can see he helps draw 2 cards. And so if I'm running low on cards in my hand, then I can use Farfetch'd to help me to get my game going again. It's not like the Pokemon video games where you can use any attack whenever you like. Sometimes you just don't have the right cards to use, and that can be frustrating. Nidoran, you've got 3, 2, and then 2, all in the same evolution chain. And so this deck uses only fire energy, but you can see this version of Nidoqueen only uses colorless energy. So even though she is a psychic Pokemon, she is able to use the fire energy, and so it really works well in this deck together. And then we have 3 Ponytas and 2 Rapidashes. So again, 3 and then 2, and there's no other evolution form of after Rapidash, so we don't have to worry. And so the idea is to pick 2, this is just a guideline, but pick 2 high-level Pokemons of Stage 2 evolutions, and then do 3-2-2, 3-2-2, and then pick a few sets of helper Pokemon that make your deck work well together. You don't want to just pick random weak Pokemon. It would help if they actually played some sort of purpose in your deck. So here are trainer cards, and these are what really help your deck work. They're what help you win. So this Professor Kukui, he allows you to draw 2 cards, and then it increases the damage you do that turn by 20. Pokemon Fan Club, if you have this card in your hand at the beginning of the game, and you have no Pokemon on your bench, and you really need Pokemon to get your game started, say you have a hand full of energy, and maybe 1 Pokemon, Pokemon Fan Club allows you to draw 2 Pokemon, any 2 Pokemon out of your deck. So that can really get your game moving. Howl allows you to draw 3 cards. Cynthia allows you to shuffle your hand back into your deck and draw 7 new fresh cards. Copycat allows you to shuffle your hand into the deck and draw 5 new cards. Brock's Grit allows you to take either 6 Pokemon or 6 energy out of your discard pile, so things that have already been knocked out, and take them out your discard pile and then shuffle them back into your deck. And so you can see that most of these trainer cards, if it's a good deck, will be focused on how you get Pokemon out of your deck and how you get energy out of your deck. And like, for example, say you're really wanting to use Charizard and he's at the bottom of your deck, and you never get to shuffle your deck, you never get to go through your deck and find him. Then you could go, if you're each drawing 1 card every turn, you could go a full 50 turns before you actually get to your Charizard that you really needed to win. And so that can be frustrating. You can have a great deck, but you can just keep on drawing the wrong cards that you need to beat the guy you're facing. And so this is your trainer cards really supplement that. How do they let you draw extra cards? Do they let you shuffle your deck? Do they let you pick out specific cards that you need? Do they let you, if your Pokemon gets knocked out early, do they let you take it out of its discard pile and either put it in your hand or put it into play or put it back in your deck? And so part of your trainer cards, more than half of it should be about card management, about getting cards in and out of your deck. Then this timer ball is another one of those, and the nest ball. These are about getting cards in and out of the deck. This gets basic Pokemon out of your deck that you can use, and the timer ball gets evolved Pokemon out of your deck. Then the switch cards allows you to switch a Pokemon out for 1 on your bench. So that should give you an idea of the construction of what type of trainer cards you should be really looking at putting in. At least for a beginner starter deck, you really want to have it focused on drawing cards and shuffling cards in and out of your deck. 20 to 25 energy, 20 to 25 Pokemon, and don't go over 60. There are some rules in here, like you can't have more than 3 of a single type of Pokemon. Or is it more than 5? I'll have to look that rule up. But if you're playing on the application here, it won't let you accidentally break the rules. And you don't want to have more than 3 of any. more than 2 of any one named trainer card. I have 2 switches, 2 timer balls, 2 Brock's grits, and you can see a lot of the cards do the same things, but it stays within the rules because I don't have 2 of the same. So, jumping back over to actually playing a game, I'm going to do the trainer challenge, which is just playing against an easy computer, so you can get a feel for how a game would work and what are the rules. So I'll use one of the decks that you start out with, which is Crushing Current, and click play. Okay, they're using Electricity and Dark Pokemon, so they have a split deck. So going into this battle, I know that they may have a problem putting enough energy on their Pokemon. So this is a strange rule that happened. So the first thing that we do is we put our decks, all 60 cards, out on the table. We've already shuffled them. And then we draw 7 cards. And this is our starting hand. And you have to have a basic Pokemon to play. For example, Magneton evolves from Magnemite, and you can see up in the corner that it says Stage 1. Stage 1 Pokemon. So we can't play a Stage 1 Pokemon on turn number 1. And you can't evolve any Pokemon on turn number 1. And here's Fearow, which is a Stage 1 Pokemon. So looking at this deck, I have 3 Pokemon, 2 trainer cards, and 2 energy cards. One is a special energy card that counts as 2 colorless energy. Then I have a single Pikachu, a single basic Pokemon. So what I would do is I would put that face down right in this area so that they wouldn't know who I was putting down. And so that you flip a coin, you decide who goes first, and then the person that goes first, they put their starting Pokemon face down, and then the other player puts their starting Pokemon face down. And then if you have more basic Pokemon than that, you can put up to 5 of them on your bench. And you can do this before the game starts if you want to, or you can save it for later on any one of your turns. But keep in mind that if they knock your one Pokemon out, your one active Pokemon out, and even if they don't use all of their prize cards, if the bench that you have is empty and you have no more Pokemon, then you lose. And so it's important to at least always have one Pokemon on your bench so you don't accidentally lose. Right now, the person I'm playing against, Cammy, says, "Hey, I've got no basic Pokemon," and so they cannot put a basic Pokemon down, so they need to shuffle all of their 7 cards back into their deck and draw another 7 cards and see if they get a basic Pokemon this time. Each time they do that and they don't get a basic Pokemon, I get to draw an extra card and start out with an extra card in my hand, which can be pretty awesome. So I'm going to click done here because I said, okay, I see that you've got no basic Pokemon to put down. I'm going to put my Pikachu face down. So they put, in this game, since I'm the only human playing, it's putting it face up, but if you're playing against another human, you'd at first put it face down. I get to see those 7 cards because they have to prove to me that there was no basic Pokemon. Oh, that's not a basic Pokemon. That's not a basic. They got Trainer and Energy. Okay, you're right, you really didn't have a basic Pokemon. Okay, shuffle your deck. And this time, they did find a basic Pokemon here, and you can see they played it face down. And then they played 2 face down cards on their deck, which I know are also basic Pokemon. And then I have to say, hey, stop there. I need to draw an extra card. And if you forget to draw an extra card, then you don't get to go back and do it later. So I have to say, yes, I want to draw an extra card here. All right, once that's, once we put our starter Pokemon down, the next thing we do is we draw 6 cards and we fill up all of our prize slots. And so I've got my 6 cards sitting here in my prize slots, and he's got 6 cards sitting over there in his prize slots. Over here I have my deck, where I draw cards from each turn, and in this space here, that's my discard pile, which will be face up, so both of us can see. I can see his discard pile and he can see my discard pile. And so here I'm starting my first turn, and the first thing I did was I drew a card. At the start of each turn, you draw a card to start your turn. You can attach 1 energy card per turn. And so it looks like one of the cards that I drew was a Zapdos, which is a basic Pokemon. And like I said, we want at least 1 basic Pokemon on the bench at all times. Not a basic one, at least 1 Pokemon on the bench at all times. Right now I don't have Magnemite, so I can't play this one, and it's also my first turn, so I can't evolve. And Fearow, and I don't have Spearow, so I can't evolve that Pokemon either. I've got 2 trainer cards. One is a Revive, which I can't use because I don't have any knocked out Pokemon in my discard pile. And Winnowa. And Pokemon cards with a name on it like this, where it's a person's name on it, like Broxgrit, Winnowa, Hal. If it's a trainer supporter card, you can only use 1 of those per turn, and the person who goes first can't use it on their first turn. So that's why, even though this card may be useful, it says search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon. So I could pick any 3 Pokemon from my deck and then put them into your hand. So that would be really great for me to use, but since I'm the person who went first, and it's my first turn, I can't use this card, but I can use it next turn. Pikachu, Gnaw for 10, Agility for 10. So usually if you add more energy, so the first attack, Gnaw, it requires 1 electricity energy. And so if I have an energy stuck to my Pokemon, I can use that first attack. If I needed 2 energies to use the second attack, but the second attack is special because it says flip a coin. If heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage, done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. So this time, the bottom one, even though it doesn't do more damage, I get to flip a coin, and if I flip a heads, then sweet, they cannot hurt me next turn. So now I have to choose how to start my turn. Zapdos is a much stronger Pokemon than Pikachu. It has 120 health, which you can see at the top there. Drill Peck for 20 damage. And then if I get 3 energies, 2 of which are electric and 1 could be any kind of energy, then this attack will do 120 damage. And it's also dangerous because it does such a crazy Raging Thunder that it does 40 damage to a Pokemon that's on my bench if I have one. So it could end up hurting a Pokemon on my bench, so I have to be careful when I use that move. I could end up killing one of my own Pokemon, or knocking them out. So here, 2 energies and a double colorless energy. To use this bottom attack, I would normally have to wait 2 turns, so if I put this on here, I would be able to attack right away next turn. If you go first, you can't attack on your first turn, so that's why I won't be able to attack on this turn no matter what. And Gnaw for 10. So what I'm going to do is follow the rules and attach a energy to my Pokemon. And since I can't attack on this turn, it's not giving me the option to attack because it's my first turn. And I can't play any of my other cards. And so I'm going to say, alright, that's all I can do. It's your turn now, Cammy. She draws a card. She attached an energy. And her Pokemon, Vital, can it needs a dark energy to do its first attack, Oblivion Wing, for 30 damage. And they attached a water energy to it, so they cannot even attack me, even though they were allowed to. So now it goes back to my turn. And let's look at these cards for a second here. At the top right hand side, there is the HP. Then you see that it's a basic Pokemon at the top left. Then you can see their attacks listed or any special moves that they can do. Right now this Pokemon doesn't have any special moves, so it's just attacks that they need energy for. And then at the bottom you should see a weakness and resistance. This Pokemon is weak to electricity and it's resistant to fighting energy. And to retreat it, they need to throw away 2 energies that are attached to the Pokemon for it to retreat. So if your Pokemon is sitting here as your active Pokemon and it's taken a lot of damage and you need to bring him back to your bench so he doesn't get knocked out, then you would have to pay the retreat cost. So right now I could retreat, but I would throw away this energy into my discard pile to bring him back to my bench and trade him out for another one of my Pokemon. So I don't want to retreat unless I really have to, unless it makes sense for the game. Weakness and resistance. My Pikachu is weak to fighting, and so if a fighting Pokemon damages me, it will do double the damage. He was weak to electricity and I'm using electricity, so if I hit him with agility or gnaw, instead of doing 10, it will do ×2 or double. It will do 20 damage. So you don't need to worry about counting the damage when you're playing online or playing on the computer game or app. The game keeps track of the damage for you, but if you're playing with the actual cards in real life, you will want to have damage counters like little jewels or toys or pieces of paper or anything you can find that work. Usually if you buy Pokemon decks in real life, they'll come with a few damage counters, which are just shiny little stones that you can put on each card. And each time you put one of those stones down on your card, it means they got damaged by 10. And all of the damages are in multiples of 10. And so right now, if I put 6 damage counters on Pikachu, Pikachu would be knocked out because Pikachu takes 60 damage or 6 damage counters. Yveltal takes 130 damage or 13 damage counters. And so you do want, I don't know, about 20 little damage counters that you can put on your own Pokemon if you're playing in real life. So I'm going to first of all use my trainer card, Winnow, and I get to choose any 3 Pokemon that I want. And I very much want to choose 3 single star Pokemon, 3 colorless Pokemon. So I can't choose a Raichu even though I want to. I have to choose 3 colorless Pokemon. Genghis Khan would be a good choice because he's got a lot of HP, he's very strong, but he uses a lot of energy. So it takes a long time to get him ready to use. Eevee is great, but in this deck I don't have any, well actually I do. I have a Jolteon that I can evolve Eevee into. Spearow is cool. Spearow does 30 damage, and that evolves into Fearow, who also requires 4 energy to do Fearow's attack. So that's an option. And then there's Rattata that I could pick that doesn't really do any damage and is very weak, but it has only a single star retreat cost. And Raticate, which it evolves into, which doesn't do any damage but can poison them, and it can't be poisoned itself, and it has no retreat cost, so I can bring him back from being an active Pokemon anytime I want. So I'll take one Rattata, one Raticate, so you can see how poison works, and then I will take one Genghis Khan. So I could use all of these cards. So Genghis Khan is a basic Pokemon I can put down right away. I can't put down Raticate. I can put down Rattata. And I still can't evolve Rattata yet because you cannot evolve them the same turn that you put them down. So next turn I'll be able to put down Raticate. Okay, so I'm going to attach an energy, and I could attach it to any one of these Pokemon, but I'm going to attach it to Pikachu so I can use that agility attack and flip a coin. I will put Eevee out there as well, and I've almost got a full bench of Pokemon. So I'm looking pretty good, and I have this double colorless energy, which I could maybe use to start powering up Genghis Khan, and he could even do one attack there. So only your active Pokemon can attack. So I will click on him and say, and in real life, instead of clicking, I'll just say, I am going to use, Pikachu is going to use agility. Bam! It did 20 damage instead of 10, and I flipped a coin, and so this is saying he couldn't damage me. So he did attack me, but it did 0 damage because of that agility. Phew. Alright. So this turn, I can evolve Rattata into Raticate. And I want to start powering up my Genghis Khan to use. And I don't have any other cards I can use. These two, Fearow and Magneton, I don't have the basic Pokemon for. Revive, I don't have any knocked out Pokemon yet, and I've already used one energy card this turn on Genghis Khan. So the only thing left I can do is attack, and when you attack, your turn is over. So I will use agility again, and hopefully I'll flip the heads, which in Pokemon is the shiny side of the coin. I flipped the tails, that means he can damage me this turn. So hopefully that won't be too bad. He used a training card, Crushing Hammer, so he flips a coin of heads. He can knock out one of my energy, but he got a tail, so I'm safe. Oh. I didn't flip the heads, and then his attack, Darkness Blade, did 100 damage. Ouch. I don't know which Pokemon to put out yet. Raticate is cool because I would really like to poison his Pokemon, but I'm not sure if I will draw a single energy I can use. Genghis Khan, if I use my colorless energy that's sitting in my hand, then I will be able to use 100 damage against him, and that would kill him. So Genghis Khan's a good Pokemon to put out. I'm going to put out Raticate instead, because Raticate has no retreat, and I can switch them later once I see what card I've drawn for my turn. I drew an energy card, which I want to put on Raticate and poison him, but If I do that, then he will do 100 damage to me and knock me out. So instead, I will just switch these out, and now I've got two colorless energies on him, so I can use this one, 1, 2, and then 1, 2 again, 100 damage, and let's check that there's nothing else I can do. Do I want to revive that Pikachu? Maybe. I've got 2 more Pikachus in my deck, so I'm just gonna wait and see if I need to use this card later, maybe. And Mega Punch for 100. Bam. Okay, so it's asking me to draw a prize card. You draw one of your prize cards when you knock out their Pokemon. Quick. I got an electricity energy card for that prize. And he put that knocked out Pokemon into his discard pile. Now, over here, you can see I have 38 cards left in my deck and 4 cards in my discard pile. Tammy has 42 cards in her deck and 6 cards in her discard pile. So I've been using more cards than she has. And so if I keep on using them faster and faster and then I don't win by knocking out 5 more Pokemon, I could lose if I run out of cards. So I'm going to attach an energy to Zapdos. Ultra Ball. Discard 2 cards from your hand and then you can draw a card from your deck. You know, these 2 Pokemon, Magneton and Fearow, have been sitting in my hand a long time, and I really want to Raichu. So I'm going to discard those 2 cards and hopefully draw that Raichu. Yes. I don't know why, I just like Raichu. Raichu's cool. And since now I really need that Pikachu back, I'll use my revive and get Pikachu out. And I only have 2 cards left, and I've already used an energy card this turn, so the only thing left I can do is attack. Bam. Now I draw another prize card. I've got 4 prize cards left, and he has 5, so I'm winning by 1 Pokemon. Amnesia, ouch. So Wishcash attacked me, and Wishcash, the Amnesia attacks, he got to choose one of my attacks and say you're not allowed to use that next turn. So what did he choose? The Pokemon can't use Mega Punch, so my big attack for 100 I'm not allowed to use this turn. Let me evolve Pikachu into Raichu. I put him down last turn so I can evolve him this turn. I will get my Pikachu ready to fight by giving him the energy. And to do one attack, to do my top attack, I need 2 energies, and to do my bottom attack, I need 3. So I've got no energies left in my hand down here, so I'm hoping to draw some more energies soon, otherwise I won't be able to use my new Raichu. So there's no other cards. Well, I could put one of these cards on my bench, Spearow, but I want to kind of just keep them on my hand so it looks like maybe I've got some cool cards in my hand. So, Tiny Punch for 40. If I could have knocked the Pokemon out that turn, I would have won since his bench was empty. But now he added a Pokemon there, and I won't win like that. He used Amnesia again, and so I still can't use my big attack. Oh, I drew a Jolteon. And I can evolve my Eevee now. But I still got no electricity energy to use, so the only thing I can do before ending my turn is attack. Alright, he's got 80 damage on him, or 8 damage counters, so if I damage him by 2 more, it will equal 10, and that Pokemon will be knocked out. What should I do? I really need to knock that Pokemon out, so I've got to use and I've got no energy. I think it would be cool if I could poison him, but that's only if I draw an energy. I did not draw an energy for my card this turn, and so I can't use that, but luckily, the cool thing about Raticate is he can just retreat with no energy cost, and then I can use Zapdos, Drill Peck for 20, which should work. Bam. Alright, so we were at 4 and 4, now I've got 3, so I'm 1 closer again. Ooh, cool card. Shauna, shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 5 cards. So that may be a good way to get energy. Let's see. Acrobite, look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand and discard the other. Bam. I want that energy. Yes. And I want to give it to Raichu, so I have that good attack to use. Then I will use my named trainer card, Shauna, to shuffle these cards back in that I don't need, and to get new cards. I'll put a Voltorb on my thing, and this is a cool trainer called a item, and these you can attach or put under your Pokemon just like energy. And this one is an item that when it's attached to that Pokemon, that tool is attached, whenever my Pokemon gets damaged, I get to draw 2 cards. So I'm going to use a lot of cards, which is dangerous, but hopefully that will allow me to do better. So I'm going to put that on Zapdos. And since I only have 1 energy, do Drill Peck for 20 and be done. He chose not to attack me. Oh, his attack for that turn doesn't do any damage, it just says draw a card. My turn, Tierno, draw 3 cards. Skyfield. This is another type of special trainer card, and you actually put this one down on the mat and keep it face up. And it's a stadium. It changes the whole arena that you're playing at, and right now we're going to play in the sky, and instead of having 5 Pokemon on my bench, I'm allowed to have 8 Pokemon on my bench, which is super awesome. So that's super zoomed out and small to see now, but I'm putting 5 Pokemon and 6 Pokemon on my deck, on my bench. I use my bicycle again, and I get to draw an extra energy card. 1 goes in the trash. And let's see here. Pikachu right now, Circle Circuit, that top attack. This attack does 20 damage times the number of benched Pokemon. So benched Pokemon, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 20 times 6, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120 damage. That would be very strong. And so if I get rid of these 2 energies here, I can switch my Pokemon out. So I paid the retreat cost, which hurt, but at the same time, I can do a lot of damage with my Raichu, and I really wanted to use him anyway. So Circle Circuit for 120. Alright. I think if we use that move 2 more times, we will win the game. I get to put even more basic Pokemon down on my bench now, so if I use that same attack, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160 damage, and he only has 70, there's no way he can do anything. I mean, she, Cammy. And so I can start charging up another Pokemon to use. Maybe Jolteon is a good idea. And Circle Circuit for 160. Go. And he didn't draw any energy cards. I mean, she didn't draw any energy cards, and you can see that, remember how I said in that person's deck they had two different types of energy? And that's why they've been having so much trouble, is they haven't been able to use the attacks that they've wanted to, and now they just have no energy and no cards in their hand. So I know that for sure they can't do anything. I could put an energy down on a Pokemon like this, but all I really need to do, since I have only one prize cards left, is attack and draw my final card, and the game's over. So playing Pokemon can be really, really fun. It does take some time to get good at it and learn the rules. We didn't get to go into any of the special effects, like poison, where if you get poisoned, you have to take 20 damage on your Pokemon every turn and flip a coin to see if you stay poisoned. But or paralyzed, where you can't attack, or burned, where you take burn damage every turn and then, burn damage, you flip a coin to see if you're still burned at the beginning and end of every turn, and you take 40 damage, an extra 20 damage. You can take 20 damage when you're burned and 20 damage when you're poisoned, but poison stays with you, and burn damage, you flip a coin each turn to see if you're still burned or not. So that can be pretty rough. We didn't go into any of those complex rules, but you really don't need them to get started. And if you end up playing online on this trading card game online and playing against these computers here, there's lots of computers to play, and you can earn the points and keep on buying more decks. You can really have fun, and it will teach you the rules about being paralyzed, burned, cursed. There's a few others. So I hope that you had fun learning how to play Pokemon. Go ahead and find the app, go play it, enjoy it, and let me know what you think. See if you want to, post a comment, and I will reply to you. All right, have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.